Welcome back on Dynamo. Today I want to propose you a usage of the blue stuff. Blue stuff is a particular type of material that you can use to reproduce some type of things that you create for your own use. If you want, you can find in the description the links about my order from the site of the greenstuffworld where I bought my green stuff. It's not a sponsored video. It's simply that I bought that so I know the quality of that site about this product, so I can assure about it. But anyway, you can find it from other sources. It's up to you decide which type of it to use. The main thing that I want to talk about is that the blue stuff can be used about to create the mold for your things that you want to reproduce for some details or so on. It's really amazing about using such type of material because it doesn't fix to the material that you use, so you don't have the problems about having that it risks to ruin the material that you use it on. In fact, before to use such type of material, I was used to use the green stuff to create the mold, but it was always a problem about using it because it was always risking that after create the mold and even creating the mold, you risk that some of the green stuff could be remain some little stuff on the material, on the product that I wanted to duplicate or to recreate. So it was such a problem. So about the molding itself and then about using the green stuff or other materials to such mold, I think that it's better to use such one. I think that it's more suitable to create and it's even faster to create such molds and then to use the materials that you want on it. So, said these things, now we can see how to proceed. The first thing that I want to make you understand is that you can't copy, at least I can promote the copy of real material that has been done. For example, I modified some type of icons from the set of the Games Workshop and other trademarks, but I don't recreate complete models because it's not legal to do so. I recreate some little designs, some things that then I modified so that I can make it suit the things that I need. For example, the ones that you can see in the images up here are an example of such thing. What I did, I taken some icons and then I fused them together to use and to create such design that you can see in here in the images up here. What I obtained? I obtained something that only suits me, it's only mine, so I don't have any problems about licenses, trademarks and so on. These are my doors from one of the raids that I have that I realized in such a way, so that you can understand such a thing. Some times ago, moreover, I asked that those ones that you see as images will be reproduced in resin. The reproduction was not good and I want to use such a reproduction to make understand the process on how to use the green stuff and the blue stuff to reproduce such things. So these are the starting points. And then we can start to create the armor that contour the pieces that we want to realize a replica. And I'm not joking, we use the Lego. The idea is not mine. I taken it from another YouTuber, but simply I'm not able to find the video about, so I'm not able to make you understand which one has been my inspiration about. I modified it, the procedure a little, but anyway, it's really suitable. And the great thing is that you have the pins of the Lego that keep pressing against the surface of the blue stuff, so pressing against when you imprint the replica on the blue stuff, so you create something that really facilitates you instead of having you taking trace step by step of the points on the blue stuff itself on the piece, and so it keeps really better. Simply because I can't find that video, I'm not able to make you know the original one. But anyway, if you know about it, I invite you to write in comments so that I can add in the description eventually. so that we have a complete referring. But anyway, it's really a great idea, and I suggest you to follow such idea because it's really amazing and it works really good. So now we can see the step by step on how to proceed. We have a preparatory work to do again about before starting to create such a replica, and we have to keep in pieces the blue stuff itself. You can use again the blue stuff that you yet used and you want to reuse. You simply have to make it in small pieces or cut the blocks that you gain the blue stuff with in simple strips, not too thin, but anyway strips that you can then put in the hot water that we talk soon about. And you have to collect it in the volume that you think that it's necessary for the things that you want to do. Anyway, it's not a problem because it doesn't solidify in some ways that it's recoverable. So even if you need or if you cut too much, simply you put away and you use again the next time. So don't worry about such a thing. So to operate with the blue stuff, you have to prepare two glasses. I use the plastic ones simply because I reuse them quite a lot of times, but if you want to use glass ones or so on, you don't have any problems about it. Simply remember that it's not good to use such products if you go to use something that then you make a wash to have it using for drinking. So it's better to have something that you know that you not use for anything else eventually in the future. So I prefer to use these glasses. Anyway, you have to prepare two. Why? Because one will have the cold water and one will have the hot water. Why two different types of waters? Because that water it will be used, and I'll explain soon, for the blue stuff when you had to create the mold. Instead, the cold one will be used for the blue stuff when you had to make freeze, in some way freeze, I mean to stop the being soft for the blue stuff and so accelerate the competent one. And it's a really good thing to use such process because in such a way you reduce a lot the times and the blue stuff make a better grip about the miniatures that you want to create or the replica that you need to create. So it's really good about such a thing. And then we have to prepare the blue stuff itself to be moldable. To use such a thing, you have to have in the glass of water a really hot water, so it has to be really quite warm, really quite hot. So I suggest use to make it faster a microwave. So you can put a sort of glass or so on, other than the one that you use for the blue stuff itself, in the way that it's safer. Then you put the water from it to the glass that you put the blue stuff inside. So two different glasses that doesn't interact in any way. And then you put, after you make such, putting the hot water inside, you put inside this warm water for about 2-3 minutes the blue stuff itself, in the way that it can be softened. And doing this, you can, after such type of time, you can put it and you can create the mold itself. Remember that you had to be a bit faster, so to make and to move the blue stuff itself, I suggest you to use something like a pincer or so on, in the way that you can take off, because it's really warm water that you need. So pay attention to such a thing and don't ruin your fingers using such products, because it's hot water. Then we have to move a bit fast. We have to put the blue stuff in the armor that we create with the Lego, and then press the doors, in this case because I'm using them as an example, on it, so that the pins of the Lego and the pressure itself of the piece on the blue stuff and the confinement itself create a better pointing on the blue stuff itself about the details of the thing that you want to reproduce. Remember one thing, I told you about the cold water. Here is the time when you are putting this and you create the pressure inside the blue stuff itself and the blue stuff is confined good, I suggest you to use and to pour the cold water on the armor itself so that you can make it cool faster, the blue stuff. In such way you can freeze it better and faster, and so have better details on it, instead that maybe you risk to move a bit or not have a complete pressure on it, and so maybe you'd risk not to gain all the details that you'd like. So use such trick to accelerate the molding itself. Eventually make sure that then you can pour outside again on the cold water glass so that you don't have problems about it. You have to be having a bit of control about on how to control the water itself, because it's a liquid, so you have to pay a bit of attention about such thing, but it's quite simple literally. Then we have to wait some minutes. Then it's better to wait about 10 minutes. It's not necessary, you can even wait 2 or 3 minutes. Simply use such time to be better sure that the blue stuff is completely cool. So it's only about having a better suit that you don't deform what you had the replica about, simply. So now you take off the armor and keep the block that consists in the blue stuff and the door. Then we can remove the blue stuff from the door itself and we can see the results. You can see both the results, the one about the single one and the one about the two, so because I done the two together. Simply I should do one, but I done the two. It's not a must, simply I wanted to accelerate, so I was able to do both together, simply it. But if you want to do one at a time, it's not a problem, it's up to you. So we can see the result and we can see that the tastes are really good. If you see that it's not perfect, the result, you can try anyway to cut again and redo the process. So don't worry about such a thing. You don't have any problem in this phase to keep note about. Simply, if you have done correctly everything, you see the results, and so you see the mold that it's perfect copy of the one that you wanted to copy. Simply it. Then we can go to see some little tricks more. As you can see in the previous images, doing such a thing you have not a perfect surface. For doing a mono valve about such replica, you have the problem then about replicating it, and you have also not perfect, so you have to cut the borders about the blue stuff in the way that you create a surface that is plain. In this case I have to do simply a surface, so I don't have problems about volumes and so on. So this is a good way to create such in the way that you save blue stuff that you can reuse, and then you can simply put it aside, so you have that block, so you save blue stuff and you have the part that you need to make the replica about. Here we can see the blue stuff saved doing such a thing, and it's not a few one, because if you calculate you can gain back quite a lot of material that then you can use to make a replica of others things. So moreover, if you add a lot of things, you save quite a lot of blue stuff that you can gain use again more, because the blue stuff is reusable. It's a good thing to take note about using such a little trick. And now it's finally the time to create a replica, and so I used for doing such a thing the green stuff. Remember that you can use other materials. Till now I haven't found yet some materials that go to conflict with the blue stuff, so I don't know if you can find something that can conflict with it. Till now anyway, milliput and green stuff simply have not problems about it, but I prefer to use the green stuff, so I'm using it to make you see such results. So I use and press the green stuff against the blue stuff, the side that I create the design inside, so the mold itself. And in this case, because it's better in my opinion to press and make it feel better the mold itself, I used a roller pin transparent one simply without any design, so to press better on the blue stuff the green stuff itself. So I have a sort of better distribution of the green stuff in the mold itself. In this case it's quite shallow as surface, so it's quite easy to create such thing. I have done also this because these images I then put on vehicles and so on. And doing such a thing, I create a surface that better go on the flat surfaces of the surface that I need to put on. So it's simply a better way, I think, to make it sweet, simply it. And now we have only to wait. Usually you have to wait only some hours to wait that the green stuff is completely solid. Usually I wait about 24 hours because I'm a bit paranoid to ruin the results and maybe that it stretch a bit and so on. It's simply up to you and depends the amount of the yellow and the blue parts of the green stuff that you use that can require more or less about the time itself. I usually use a 50-50% of the two parts. But anyway, it's up to you wait and decide how much to wait. Eventually make some experiment if you want. I simply do in such a way that you have the options to make a choose. I prefer to wait a bit more, but because I had the time to wait eventually. And here we can see the results and the details that are on. So you can understand how much the details are done. Obviously, if you are not satisfied about the results, you can redo the procedure, so not worry about using such a thing. And here we can see the result of the green stuff that I realized with other examples on a repulsor. This is an example. You don't see perfect suited because these are experiments that I done and are not glued on the repulsor itself. It's simply an example. Soon I bring you also a video about the repulsor themselves because I'm monetizing and personalizing it, so I'll create a video about. Simply it's not ready yet and I need a bit of time to finish everything about realizing such a video. Anyway, I want to remember you that it's only a part. This is about doing a side, only a side. In the future, quite soon, I'll bring you also another video about to do a double side replica so that you can use for other things and so on with little tricks so that you can understand the options that you can have with this greased material that is the blue stuff itself and the usage of the Legos themselves on such material because they bring you quite a lot of good results using them together. So now you can see the potential of using such material and why I bought it a lot during these years and I need even more because more I use, more I need because it's really great to realize some little details that I can then modify, that I can combine and so on because I can create the replica of the parts, then cut the replica themselves and combine them to create another new thing completely. So it's really quite a lot of things that you can realize and not having any problem about. And it's really amazing doing such a thing in my opinion. Obviously it's up to you if you value such options or not, because you can simply think that it's not value all the time and the fatigue that you can gain about doing such a thing. But anyway, it's really simple. At least if you want to have some exercise, I suggest you to start doing the simple side one. I think that it's really perfect about gain a bit of confidence in using such materials themselves. Obviously, I remember you, I prefer to use the green stuff, but I remember you, it's not the only material that you have and that you can use. You can use other materials too. It's up to you decide which one suits better for that result that you have in mind about. Simply it. So, from Dynamod, it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again to the next time.